theology first. I didn't read the doctrine, get convinced, and then try it out. I experienced it long before I even knew there were Christians who believed tongues had ceased. By the time I discovered the debate, I'd already spoken in tongues. No argument could talk me out of what I had lived. But not everyone sees it this way. A satirical TikTok channel called The Holy Note recently put out a video mocking charismatic tongues as nothing more than rapping gibberish, complete with exaggerated facial expressions and a laugh track style delivery. Now, satire has its place. It can make us laugh at ourselves and at times call out hypocrisy. But here's the danger. For someone who's never experienced tongues, never studied it, and never seen it biblically, that clip might become their definition. And that's a problem because spiritual realities can't be reduced to sound bites. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 2:13, "This is what we speak, not in words taught by human wisdom, but in words taught by the Spirit," explaining spiritual realities with spiritual taught words. And that's what this series is about, clarifying spiritual things with the spiritual. Not hype, not dismissal, but spirit-led explanation. Let me say this clearly. No one I know who speaks in tongues sees it as a badge of superiority. It's not about status. It's about prayer, worship, and personal encounter with God. And it's far more widespread than people think. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has openly said he prays in tongues daily, quietly in the early hours, as a normal part of his devotion. The Oscar-nominated actress Andra Day prayed in tongues during filming to bring spiritual authenticity to a scene. Megan Fox has said she's spoken in tongues since childhood. NFL quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has prayed in tongues during deeply emotional post-game moments. And Morgan Freeman, in his Story of God documentary, called tongues the language of heaven after witnessing it firsthand in Pentecostal service. It's not just preachers and revival meetings, it's actors, athletes, public figures, and everyday believers across cultures and continents. That alone should make us pause before dismissing it as fake, outdated, or emotional hype. And here's something fascinating. Science has actually studied this. A research team at the University of Pennsylvania used brain scans on people while they were speaking in tongues. They found that the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for decision making and self-control, actually went quiet. In other words, the very area that's active when you're consciously forming speech was largely inactive. It's as if the person wasn't producing the language from their mind at all, which sounds a lot like what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 14:14. "My spirit prays, but my mind is unfruitful." So in this series, we're going to track tongues through three lenses. Scripture, especially the book of Acts, where we'll see a consistent pattern of tongues as the initial evidence of the Spirit baptism. Number 2, purpose, the difference between private prayer tongues, public prophetic tongues, and the tongues of Pentecost. History, from the early church to modern Pentecostalism, and why this gift still matters. So whether you've prayed in tongues for years, or you think it's strange, or maybe you've never considered it before, we're going to take a thoughtful, biblical, and practical journey together. The goal isn't hype, it's to understand the gift God himself designed and see how it still has a place in the life of every believer who wants everything the Spirit has to give. So let's start where it all began. Jerusalem, AD 33. A sound like a mighty rushing wind, and words spoken in languages the speakers didn't know, but heaven did.